pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Walk with me.
Yo, what is going on, everybody in the chat? How's everybody doing today on this fantastic Tuesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, where we're literally a week away, or I guess a little bit more than a week away from the trade deadline, because obviously I think that it actually expires on 1 p.m. AZ time next Tuesday, but we're getting too specific here, ladies and gentlemen. Next Tuesday is going to be the trade deadline here for the NFL, and we're all curious. We're all waiting to see if Monty Austinford is going to make a move. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Ranger, we got Robert, we got Cards Fan, Jude, U-Turds, State 48, Vin, Michael, I see you up there as well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you could do me a huge favor, smack up the like button here on your way in. We're going to have a good, fun, old show for you guys today. Obviously talking about should the Arizona Cardinals be buyers, right? That's what we're mainly going to talk about today. I know we kind of dived into it a little bit yesterday when we were talking about Darius Robinson, but I want to kind of really obviously talk about down to the nitty gritty, right? Who's available? Who could potentially get traded away? Can the Cardinals have any interest, right? And all of that we're going to be diving into. So let me just do a real quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. You know we got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Got to pay the bills. So huge shout out here to BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. That is going to be up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right. A lot of things happened already this morning. Not Cardinals related, but I want to keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening around the NFL, just in case you're interested, because I know there's some people out there that are interested. If you guys do not know, big bombshell of a news dropped earlier today that Stefan Diggs, former Buffalo Bills, now Texans, has unfortunately got a season-ending injury. A big blow, and I mean a huge blow to the Texans. Hopefully, obviously, prayers up to Stefan Diggs, one of my favorite players watching, right? Especially in fantasy football. Very, very unfortunate, and I'm curious to figure out what the Texans are going to do. Now, this news dropped first, and then Deontay Johnson dropped a little earlier. Now, there was kind of speculations around the idea that, hey, Deontay Johnson has been a name that was getting thrown around out there, right? Hey, he could potentially get traded away. Who wants him, right? Maybe the Panthers are going to be on a fire sale. His name was linked to the Texans, but this one came out probably about like 20, maybe 34 minutes after, or at least that's what I saw, right? But he is finding his way onto the Ravens, ladies and gentlemen. So Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, they're going to find themselves with a new weapon for Lamar Jackson. So this right here, this move, I think they literally swapped picks. I think it was like a 5th and a 6th. Like, they literally swapped picks. Like, that's all it took, right? So we're not hearing any big blockbuster first-round picks happening so far. So, Monty, please pick up the phone. Please pick up the phone. That's all I got to say. Now, I did see this report probably about a couple days ago. No, it was yesterday. I'm sorry. It says it right there, October 28th. Today's the 29th. So, Diana Rossini ended up coming out and saying that it's known around the league that the Patriots will continue to listen to offers on other players before the NFL trade deadline next week. So it seems like the Patriots, along with potentially the Panthers, might be on some sort of, I don't want to say fire sale, but they definitely seem to be sellers, right? Fortunately, we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals in November football, and we're not having to worry about, oh man, are we going to be sellers? Is Budda Baker going to get traded? Are we going to not see James Conner? We don't have to worry about that, because guess what? We're the top part of our division at 4-4 right now, and we're at least contending to potentially, hopefully, as long as we can keep that spot, maybe make a playoff push, right? Fingers crossed. Obviously, 9 games left. A lot of things can happen from here into the end of the season, and we're all just looking for progress. We're all looking for a potential push. It's kind of what we're all looking for here at the end of the day. So if you're wanting to get some sort of Patriots player out there, hey, per this report here from Diana Rossini, they are listening in, right? They are listening in. Okay, let's talk about what we're all here to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's focus on our Arizona Cardinals, right? Who is on the market? Now, I'm going to ask you guys this very, very plain, simple question to you guys in the chat, right? And obviously, participation is obviously helpful if you guys can. Let me know in one word: buyers, sellers, stay pat. Well, actually, stay pat is 2 words. So I guess if you want to go ahead and say it's 2 words there, but these are your 3 options: buyers, sellers, stay pat. What are the Arizona Cardinals going to do next week? Are they going to make a move before the trade deadline? Are they going to wait till Tuesday? What we've heard so far from Monty Ossenfort, this is the time right now where people are making a lot of calls, right? Or at least 2 weeks ago when he was on Arizona Sports on his interview, he did say that obviously it depends on where the Cardinals are, but that is a venue, right? That is an option for the Cardinals to potentially upgrade their roster. And yeah, of course, right? That's a potential upgrade. You upgrade your roster in any part, right? Any NFL team can very well do this, right? So with what we've heard from Monty Ossenfort, it looks like all options are on the table, right? But right now, with where it stands, I haven't heard anything about the Cardinals doing anything, right? Obviously, we got a week away, so we're probably not going to hear anything. Maybe today. Maybe all we know is we have a week, right? So who's on the market right now? Actually, let me give a huge shout out here, my guy over here with the super chat. Jesus Castillo, what's up, buddy? $4.99 donation. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you. Let's see what the chat says. I see buyers, small buyers. Okay, I'll take small buyers. Buyers, please. They're going to make a move today. Oh, Jeffrey over here saying we're going to make a move today. Okay. Well, from your lips to the football god's ears, Jeffrey, hopefully you are correct. Appreciate you, Jesus, with the super chat. Who's on the market, right? Let's talk about that. Who is going to be on the market? Well, we have heard that Max Crosby at one point, right, that the Raiders were looking into moving pieces off, right? Now, whether that's going to be Max Crosby or not, we don't know. What we do know is they moved off of Davante Adams. They moved them over to the Jets. Unfortunately, Davante Adams was not enough to save that Jets organization. That Jets organization is going through some shambles right now. And it's very unfortunate to see from the outside because they had so much high expectations. Like they were on cloud 9 with Rodgers, and now it's just it's going downward slope, and it's coming down really, really quickly. Like it's coming really, really badly for them. So I'm sorry, not the Patriots. The Raiders might be sellers, right? So we have heard mixed reports. They might sell Crosby. They might not sell Crosby. Crosby doesn't want to go. Then he's open to it, right? We've heard a lot of different things back and forth. Obviously, it takes 2 to tango, right? It takes 2 teams, 2 GMs to get together, find a compensation, and the rest is history, right? So that's an option. Myles Garrett, the rumors haven't been as loud for him personally. I know that probably the Browns might be listening. I just don't know fully if they are going to get him, like sell him. Like I really don't know. Like I really don't know if they're going to, right? There's been little rumors here and there. I know there's things like, content creators such as myself that would love the idea of getting a Myles Garrett, but like if you really think about it, it's really hard to come across pass rushers, right? And they might be a quarterback away. I mean, Jameis Winston looks leaps and bounds better than Deshaun Watson. I mean, they could potentially win some games, right? So maybe they're not in a absolute fire sale. The difference between the Browns and the Raiders is the Raiders don't really have a quarterback. Like they're in shambles right now. Like the Raiders are in shambles. Now, yes, you could say the Browns are in shambles as well because their quarterback hasn't met up to their contract, but like Jameis Winston is doing a decent enough job to potentially win some games there. So I don't know if they're going to sell him. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. A couple other names that we kind of heard floated around as well as a potential trade candidate to get moved off of. Zadarius Smith. I don't know. I was going to say Zadir. My bad. Zadarius Smith. Another Brown, right? Now, with him, I think there's a little less ties to him because they didn't draft him, right? He came from the Green Bay Packers. They ended up bringing him in, 32 years old. If there was a guy that they're going to move off, in that defensive line, probably be Zadarius Smith, right? Zadarius Smith. I'm not going to lie to you. I was okay with the thought of maybe Matthew Judon. I know the Atlanta Falcons struck first. I wouldn't be mad at Zadarius Smith. I really wouldn't. But the main guy that I really want my Arizona Cardinals to go after, and we saw him on Monday Night Football. Your guess in the chat, Azeez Ojulari. Yes. Now, if we don't get him, right? If we don't, the brother. Yes, the brother. If we don't get him, it's not over, right? What I'm looking for is for Monty Ossenfort to make a move more than anything, right? Like, that's what I'm really, really looking for Monty Ossenfort to make a move. We're in an instance right now where the Cardinals organization should make a move, right? They should make a move. Now, are they, right? That's the big question out there. Are they going to make a move? I sure hope so. There has been some other people out there that obviously cover the Cardinals as well. 2 weeks ago, they were saying the Cardinals weren't a piece away. They were saying the Cardinals were not a piece away. Guess what? The Cardinals are 4-4. We're the number one spot in the division. And guess what? The tune has changed. And I know you guys might know one, right? You might know a person that says that the Cardinals shouldn't have been buyers 2 weeks ago. Guess what? Things change. I've always been on the board that the Cardinals should be buyers, right? Because of the whole, you got a franchise quarterback. You're seeing how loud this fan base is already getting with him. I mean, he's done very good in these last 2 games, right? He's actually gotten better, progressing, right? Is he still to the point where I'm like, yeah, 100%? I mean, I'm not fully there, but I'm like 90% there. Like, he's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I just need to see some more consistent wins. That's what I'm looking for from Kyler. And he's doing very, very, very well, right? But I've never, ever once said trade Kyler. Never, ever once. I've just been one of those guys that were critical on this offense that have not done very good. But the last 2 weeks, we've shown some promise. So we're 4-4, right? We're 4-4 right now. Can the Cardinals be buyers? Yes, they can. And should they be buyers? Yes, they can. It is the same thing that I've been talking about for the last 2 weeks in terms of the Cardinals should go after somebody. They absolutely should, right? There should be no excuse because right now what should be happening is Monty Ossenfort should be making the calls. He should be dialing up the New York Giants and saying, hey, your season has not come to the way that you thought your season was going to be, right? You're 2-6 right now. What do you think about getting rid of Azeez? Because like we mentioned before, and we mentioned plenty of videos on this already, the Arizona Cardinals are in an instance right now where they absolutely should be buyers. They should. If they're not, and if they don't, that's an absolute epic fail. That's a fail. It's a fail. They need to do something. Now, to me, it's not Myles Garrett or bust or Max Crosby or bust. Although I've said this once and I'll say it again, of course, right? Those are guys that are dream scenarios. And if you're looking for some sort of X factor on that D line, almost like a Chandler Jones when we used to have Chandler Jones wreaking havoc on the outside of the line, of course, I would take them in a heartbeat. I look at Monty and I look at him and see what his background is and where he's come from in terms of the teams that he's worked for, right? Got some ties with the Patriots, got some ties with the Titans, right? I don't really see him making a move like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. Now, can we be surprised? Can we be shocked? Can he do something out of the norm if it makes sense for the Cardinals organization? Of course. Of course it can, right? Of course. It's just with what we've seen trend-wise from Monty in the 2-year tenure that we've seen him so far, he values more Iron Man, which ironically, a lot of guys that we brought in are on IR, right? I mean, you can't predict that, right? So I'm not going to come out here and say the guys that you brought in free agency weren't, really stellar because I think he knows, right? He knows that we got hit with the injury bug, right? With a lot of people that he brought in, right? Bilal Nichols unfortunately got hurt. Justin Jones unfortunately got hurt. We were leaning a lot on BJ Ojulari, which unfortunately got hurt. He wasn't a free agent acquisition. I'm just kind of talking about the defensive linemen that were supposed to be a focal point on this 2024 roster, and everybody kind of, you know, falling by the wayside, right? Zay Jones, which didn't get hurt, but he was suspended for the first 5 games of the season, right? A lot of these guys that we brought in to help out this 2024 Arizona Cardinals roster, the only one that's really consistently improved this defense is Mack Wilson Sr. That's it. That's it. So sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror. Monty, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, man, I might have made a mistake, right? Let me change my approach here. And I'm not asking for Monty Ossenfort to spend all $19 million of the cap space that we currently have right now, right? I'm not asking for it. I'm not asking to doing that. What I'm asking for is for him to elevate and to upgrade this defensive line. That's what I'm looking for, right? To upgrade this defensive line. And it can be done by a phone call, right? I see my guy in the chat here talking about Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, I mean, that's another name, right? Another name to throw out there in there as well. The thing about Trey Hendrickson to me is that the Bengals, although I think we can all admit they're probably not going to hit the playoffs, when you have Joe Burrow, I think they're always going to think that they're going to try to somehow find a way to claw, right? To claw into some sort of contention. Granted, they're 3-5 right now, right? They're 3-5. Can they be 4-5 by next week? Maybe, right? Can they somehow get into 500 or go back to 500? Yeah, potentially, right? I mean, that division on its own, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, we know the Browns probably aren't going anywhere, right? They're the Browns, right? The Bengals, on the other hand, maybe they might find some sort of push in the last 9 games of the season, right? So I don't see them selling Trey Hendrickson unless it absolutely makes sense, right? Now, I see you guys in the chat. Micah Parsons, right? The Cowboys, right? Would the Cowboys make a move like moving off of Micah Parsons? I mean, that would be another dream scenario for the Cardinals potentially doing something like that, right? But that's just, it's not moves that I've seen Monty make. And I'm not saying he's not going to. It's just, it's hard for me to try to sell myself on the idea that Micah Parsons can be available. Now, granted, right now, where Micah Parsons' contract stands, he's got a cap hit in 2024 of $2.9 million right now in guaranteed salary. I'm sorry, I apologize. Guaranteed salary right now in 2024 is $2.9 million. Cap hit is 5.4. Keep in mind, he's a top 15 first-round pick. He's still on his rookie deal. In 2025, as long as they pick up that 5th-year option for Micah Parsons, then that's where the money kind of starts flowing. But you also got to think about it as well. Because he's a first-round pick, because he's got that big name, that price tag, if you do extend him, you're going to be paying a lot of money for potentially a Micah Parsons, right? So am I against it? Of course not, right? I think that would be great. I think that would be cool. Anybody can elevate this roster. Like, defensively, it's almost kind of laughable to me, right? Josh Uche, right? The guy that just went to the Chiefs. Yeah, him, Uche. He went for a 6th-round pick in 2026, ladies and gentlemen, in 2026. So, like, we're not talking about crazy amount of blockbuster trades, but you can get some good players. You really can. Throw a 5th-rounder. Throw a 6th-rounder at somebody and see if we can do something done. Heck, maybe even if it's a 4th-rounder, if you're looking into potentially getting an Azeez Ojulari because of how minimal he's getting paid and the big potential that it is, maybe a 4th-round pick can do it. Like, I don't see a problem with it personally. I think Azeez Ojulari would be the top of my list personally. Now, I know everybody doesn't like to talk about, players that were former Arizona Cardinals, but do you remember a couple years back when we were all, or I guess we can't say all, but when I was talking and complaining about, oh man, what are the Cardinals going to do? I can't believe we're letting Zach Allen go, right? And I can't believe we're letting Byron Murphy go, right? Guess what? Zach Allen right now, former Arizona Cardinal, a pick from Steve Keim. He's got 4 sacks in the season right now. 27 years old, 6'5", 285. And A lot of people told me he was buns. But I mean, guess what? You're right. 4 sacks isn't magnificent, but that's more sacks than anybody on our freaking roster right now has. Like, seriously, right? I would take the 4 sacks. I really would. Now, unfortunately, the guy that we were leaning on very, very heavily in Dennis Gardick got hurt, right? Dennis Gardick was having a really good season for the Cardinals, right? Forced fumbles, interceptions, sacks. He was doing good. It's just, unfortunately, he got hurt. We were really expecting BJ Ojulari to take the jump. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But Zach Allen making plays over there for the Denver Broncos, they ended up picking him up on a 3-year deal where the Cardinals decided to let him go, not pay him. I don't get the decision personally, but I mean, this is kind of the things that you gotta evaluate, right? Now, I get it. There was no ties to Zach Allen, to Monty in this regime. I understand that point of it all, right? But if you got a player that can play, got to do something, right? You got to do something. But I digress. Who's on the market, right? Who's on the market? When you're looking at who's in the market, you got to look at who are the teams that are struggling right now, right? Who are the teams that are not doing good, right? And who are those teams right now? The Dolphins, not doing good. Like, that AFC East shambles. That whole AFC is not good. Not good at all. The Bills are running away with the division. It's not even funny. So, Dolphins not doing good. Do you see them as buyers or sellers? I don't know. Maybe not big tier names, but maybe, right? The Patriots, I can definitely see them as sellers for sure. The Jets, I don't know. I think their pride might make them continue to roll with this failed Aaron Rodgers experiment that happened. Let's keep looking here. The Chargers at 4-3. I think they're good with where they're at. The Raiders, definitely sellers for sure. The Browns, definitely sellers. The Titans, yeah, I can see that. The Jaguars, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot riding on Doug Peterson right now that they might not, just for the sake of them trying to scrape up some wins at the end of the season. The Giants, potential sellers for sure. Nobody in the NFC West, I don't think, are going to be sellers. None of them. Nobody in the NFC North are going to be sellers. None of them. In the South, Panthers, right? The Saints started off hot, but now they're kind of starting to dwindle down with obviously Derek Carr's injury, but now he's starting to come back. So maybe they're going to stack up some wins when he comes back. But those are the teams that you got to look out for, right? The teams that are not doing so good, right? Your Panthers, your Patriots, those other teams that we mentioned. So Aziz is always the one that comes back. Aziz is always the one that comes back. We got my guy Brandon saying the Jags. Something deep down tells me the Jags too. The only person I can see potentially getting traded off is Travis Etienne. The way that they handle that whole Travis Etienne situation, and the only reason why I'm as invested in that or actually have an opinion on Travis Etienne is, unfortunately, I drafted him on my fantasy football league, and he's been injured, right? Injured, or they're trying to see a new running back kind of take the torch with Take Bigsby. So that's kind of really the only guy I would see them potentially trade. But I do think that they're trying to ride out, is Doug Peterson the head coach for them for the future. So they might not be sellers, maybe one or two, but nothing to the point. I at least my opinion, right? I could be wrong. I could be very, very, very wrong. But that's just my opinion in the whole matter, right? But this is the situation that we're landing in right now, right? Who's on the market? Look at all those teams that we just mentioned here earlier. Look at their roster. See who can be that guy for you, right? I hope so. I hope the Cardinals can. I hope the Cardinals are. I really do. I really hope the Cardinals are going to have some sort of move. Let me look here on the X/Twitter to see if there's been any other news. I mean, keep in mind right now we are a week away from the trade deadline. As of right now, there has not been any rumbles. There's not been any word, although we know that this can be something where the Cardinals potentially can make a move, right? Trying to see if there's any breaking news happening right now. Okay. There is a report coming out here from Jordan Schultz saying, despite teams calling about the Panthers, they have no plan in trading J.C. Horn or Choba Hubbard. So for anybody out there that wanted J.C. Horn, get that out of your mind. I don't think they're going to trade him away. So get that in your mind. I don't see any other. Oh, I mean, if you want to get some sort of Cardinals news, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get some sort of Cardinals news, here we go. Um, this is the news that we're used to. So I guess if for what it's worth, it's not breaking. So don't get too excited here, ladies and gentlemen. But for what it's worth, you want some Cardinals news? Here you go. Aaron Wilson comes up here saying that we worked out former Rams defensive lineman Anthony Goodlow today, per league sources. He worked out for the Steelers on Monday. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Just kidding. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, not breaking news. But this is kind of what we're used to, right? This is what the Monty Austinfort regime has provided us so far. Anything to talk about? It's practice squad guys, right? Guys that we're elevating, guys that we're picking off people's practice squads. And unfortunately, this is not the news we like to hear. We don't like to see this. We don't like to talk about it because at the end of the day, they're not needle moving moves. And I don't think this really changes very much either here, ladies and gentlemen. So the Cardinals worked out former Rams offensive lineman Anthony Goodlow. So for what it's worth here, ladies and gentlemen, Monty Austinfort is cooking. Come on. Let's trust it. Let's come on. Let's go.
Emotional damage.
We are all emotionally damaged right now, ladies. Let's do something different.
Emotional damage.
Okay. Monty. Not the move there, Monty. But okay, we still got a week away. We're trusting the process. We're trusting the process here, ladies, and we're trusting it. All right. Who's in the market? We've already talked about those potential people that can be in the market at this very moment. We just wait, right? We just wait. But if you're expecting me to make a video on this, don't hold your breath. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's keep chugging along here, right? Let's keep chugging along. Let's talk about dream scenarios, right? Let's live in a world where, hey, why not us, right? Why not the Arizona Cardinals? Why can't we do something like this? Let's just dive into that, right? Because this emotional damage is getting to me here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not used to breaking news anymore. We haven't really got big breaking news here from the Cardinals in what feels like quite some time. So let's talk about a couple dream scenarios, right? Can happen, maybe not. But dreaming is free, right? Dreaming is free. All right, dream scenario here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say 3 players. I mean, there's a lot of dream scenarios, honestly. Like Max Crosby is a dream scenario, right? It's a dream scenario. Is it potentially can it happen? I mean, I don't think so. But anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. I think this is the name I feel like I see more often than not, right? And I'm talking about Cardinal fans out there that I'm just like, I don't care what it is, right? I don't care if you're selling the farm. This is who I want. Like, I've seen a lot of comments like that where I'm like, you do what you got to do to get Max Crosby. I mean, I'm kind of right there too, but obviously to an extent, right? Because you got to think about it too, because we got to pay the guy's remaining salary at the end of the day too, right? So I'm not fully on the idea that it's, give whatever you want to Max Crosby, but I would love the idea to potentially getting a Max Crosby for sure. Myles Garrett, another dream scenario. But like, I just keep going back to the same guy. Because it just makes sense. It just makes too much sense for the Cardinals to potentially going after an Azeez Ojulari. Like, it just makes too much sense because the price tag isn't expensive at all. It's not expensive at all. You might have to fork over a 4th rounder, right? Because how young he is, the potential's there, right? So a 4th rounder might have to do as opposed to what Josh Uche just went for, a 2026 6th round pick. Like, I mean, if that's the market, what the heck are we doing? Right? I mean, if that's the market, what the heck are we doing? Like, the Cardinals should be on the phone right now aggressively. We should have people on speed dial. We should have these GMs on speed dial right now. And what's your gauge, chat? What do you guys think? Do you think the Cardinals will go after somebody? And I'm talking about dream scenario here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about dream scenario here right now, right? Dream scenario. Do you think the Arizona Cardinals will go after somebody in the dream scenario list? And let me put up the list for you right now. Let's throw 5 people in there, shall we? Let's just do that. It's for kicks, right? Because we got time, man. Today we got time, right? We got time today. All right. Crosby, Myles Garrett. I've seen that Harold Landry being thrown in the name in there, right? We'll throw him in there. Heck, I'm gonna keep putting Azeez Ojulari out there. I'm just gonna keep doing it, right? Because hey, it's my channel, so I'm gonna do what I want. So that's my 4th guy. 5th, let's throw in. I'm gonna try to see if I can get one of you guys here in the chat here to obviously give me that 5th person. Because right now, for some reason, it's not ringing in my. Okay, let's just go with those 4. Do you think a dream scenario is potential? It's possible. I guess if you want to throw the 5th, yeah, let's put Hendrickson in there. I guess Trey Hendrick. You could throw him in there if you want. Yeah. My guy U-Turd's already answered him. But yeah, okay. I mean, is it just because we're just so scarred? Is that what it is? Are we just so already used to the abuse that we're just like, just give us somebody, right? Just give us somebody. As long as it's not this man right here, that obviously that we my guy Aaron Wilson put a tweet out, right? As long as it's not him right here, I think we're trending in the right direction. Okay, we got a new. We got a couple people in the chat. Jordan says all in on Myles Garrett. Parsons. Oh, there you go, Parsons. I knew I had a name in my head. That 5th one was Parsons. All right, here we go, Parsons. Do you think we can go in with any of those guys? Dream scenario. Do you think that we would be talking next week and we are just hyped because this defense already got a major facelift? Do you think we can? All right, we got Michael up here say yes. All right. Cards fan says Josh Allen. Obviously not the quarterback Josh Allen. You're saying Josh Allen, the pass rusher for the Jaguars, right? That Josh Allen? What's his contract look like? I know he got paid here pretty recently, right? I don't see them doing away with such a young, talented player in Josh Allen, personally, right? I could be wrong. I did just say that if there was some sort of move being made by the Jaguars, I think that they might do a move like potentially moving off of ETN because of obviously Bigsby. But let's see here. Josh Allen. 3 sacks. I mean, young, 27, 6'5". I guess not young, but 6'5", 255, 27 years old. Let's see what his contract looks like. I know he just signed a contract not too long ago. So right now, he's paid up until the 2030 season. Sorry, the 2030 season right now. So if the Cardinals were to go after somebody like a Josh Hines Allen now, that I guess he goes with Josh Hines Allen now, which makes sense because there's a lot of confusion when you say Josh Allen, you think of the quarterback. So that's smart for him to make that adjustment. 2025, his guaranteed salary is $32 million. 2026, his guaranteed salary is $10 million. Cap hit, 2025 would be 15.4, 2026, 23.4, 2027, $40 million, 2028, $24 million, and 2027 is $40 million, and then 2028 is $24 million. 2029 is $12 million, but the guaranteed salary ends at 2027. So you would have 2 years of guaranteed salary, 2025 and 2026, if the Cardinals were to make a move like that. Obviously, I think we're all just kind of waiting and hoping for the best right now, right? My guy Jorge. What's up, Jorge? In the chat saying Hassan Reddick. I don't think Hassan Reddick's even available right now anymore. I think the Jets, like I said before, I think the Jets might be stubborn enough to continue with this whole Aaron Rodgers saga, and once he decides to retire at the end of the season, I think they're just I don't think they're gonna do it. I really don't. Personally, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I think Hassan Reddick is gonna stay with the Jets. They already worked out a contract negotiation, so I think he's going to stay there. Um, Junkyard Dog. Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Corey, Junkyard Dog. Can we call up Marcus Golden? I mean, I know there are some fans out there that wanted us to bring back Calais Campbell, which is he's still balling right now. I mean, this is the scenario that we're kind of in right now. Uter says, I think we could swing for Max Crosby. Well, let me ask you this, Uter. Appreciate you for obviously, being involved in the chat. Let me ask you this. What do you think it would take for a Max Crosby? What do you think it would take for a Max Crosby? Let me know in the chat. Or anybody. That question is for anybody, right? Anybody. Let me know what you think it would take for a Max Crosby if you're all in on Max Crosby. Or if you're all in on Myles Garrett. What do you think it's going to take? Here we go. Super chat coming our way. What's up, Demetrius? What's up, buddy? Man, appreciate you for the super chat. Thank you so very much. He says this. I would love Crosby, but I'm afraid Monty won't pull the trigger. He would rather draft if we don't make the playoffs. But if we do get Crosby, it's over. That's what I'm saying. Like, you get somebody like Myles Garrett, Crosby, everybody in the NFC West will be shaking in their boots. Shaking in their boots. And I mean shaking in their boots. Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about X factors, right? When you have an X factor on the edge, like we used to have in Chandler Jones, we don't have any of those guys right now. We haven't had one since Chandler Jones, right? If you have one, the defense is automatically upgraded from the get, right? And for the people out there that are saying, oh, your team or the Cardinals are not going to get fixed by one player. Okay, I agree with you. But with how much injuries the Cardinals defense have gone through this year, you're telling me that it won't help, right? Come on. Like, it will help, right? If you're saying that we're not going to go from mid defense to top 5, then you're right. Okay, you're right there, right? Obviously, depending on who you get, but I think it could make us go from, let's say we're 18. I think it could make us go to 12. Seriously. But that will help because guess what? If this offense finally is clicking and we're starting to now find Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., this connection that we're all kind of hoping and waiting at the bit to make them see what they can do. If this is just the start of what it could look like, and I don't know if you guys know, but Kyler Murray took Marvin Harrison Jr. into the wide receiving room per the broadcasters while we were watching the Miami Cardinals game. They seem to be in cahoots now, right? They seem to be, okay, you tell me what's your best route. What do you like running? You love to hear that from your franchise quarterback. You love it. So, back to what we were talking about, I mean, it can make your defense better, right? Yes, we're not a piece away. You're 100% correct. We're not. But it could help drastically because we are the constant that we're seeing a lot of these games as the Cardinals are providing too much time to the opposing quarterback. Too much time to the opposing quarterback. And we're giving up 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 9s in a crazy rate because how much pressure we can't provide, right? You put somebody like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or maybe even an Azeez Ojulari or somebody that a quarterback fears that he's going to get back there, your defense has changed, right? We're all really confident with our safety core, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson. Our cornerbacks without Sean Murphy-Bunting, I think obviously they're young, but they're showing potential. We just need that guy. We need that guy. But yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for the super chat, Demetrius. Absolutely. Okay, I asked you guys, what is going all in on Max Crosby, right? What's going all in on Max Crosby to you? So for the people in the chat right now that I asked, what's going all in on Max Crosby? What say you, right? Card chat says the house. Okay. Vin says a first. Wow. So you would give up a first. Okay. Nate says 2 firsts and 2 third round. Whoa. You guys are going to give up the house for him? Ian says 2 first round picks probably. Sheesh. Wow. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm going to give up first round picks, right? Now, that might be what it takes to potentially go after a big star caliber name like a Max Crosby or maybe even a Myles Garrett. Probably right there. But the way I like to think of it, especially if I was in the GM shoes, is hey, I'm going to pay this guy's remaining salary, right? And I'm going to be the one taking all that. So first round picks, although I don't know. I just feel like Monty Fort really values his draft picks. I feel like that's mainly where he wants to build this roster from the draft, right? Blame that on Bidwell for being cheap. Blame it on him for being. I don't care who you blame it on, but that seems to be the mantra or the style of how he likes to do things, right? I don't know if they're going to. That seems like a little too high to me. If we're talking about a third round pick or multiple third round picks, okay, I think we're talking, right? I think we're talking. When we're talking about first round picks, I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm there. Myles Garrett, the same thing, right? So like that means let me ask you guys, what's all in on Myles Garrett? Is that the same thing? Because like I said, I'm not there. If they're willing to take a third rounder because we're taking a lot of that money, right? Whatever they figure out what's going to happen with the money, we're going to take it on 2025 and then the remaining of the schedule or the remaining of the contract. So we have a lot of things that we're going for too. So I wouldn't say a first round pick personally, let alone multiple first round picks. And that's why I keep pushing the name Azeez Ojulari, and I've been talking about him for the last 2-3 weeks, right? Because the Giants are in no way, shape, or form going to contend, right? The Giants have so much issues right now, and it starts with their quarterback with Daniel Jones, right? They have a lot of issues right now, and it starts with the quarterback in Daniel Jones. So I don't think that the Cardinals will do something like that because we can still get an edge rusher in the first round or some sort of defensive piece in the first round, and we can benefit from that, right? That's just my personal thoughts. That's just my personal thoughts on it. My guy in the chat says, "What are we doing with Buddha?" I hope nothing. I hope we just keep him. I hope we just decide to. I hope we decide to extend Buddha. Seriously. So for the people out there that were saying, "Oh, this is a scenario where you can get rid of Buddha Baker," don't do that. Don't do that. If the Cardinals decide to do it, then obviously I'll cry in the corner. I'll get over it, and then we'll move on like we usually do. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I will be sad if we do get rid of Buddha Baker. I hope we don't. I really do. I get it. Rabbit looks pretty good, right? Pretty good here and there. We've seen some flashes here and there, but I'm not willing to give up on Buddha Baker, man. I feel like he's still the heart and soul of this defense. Just seeing him go head to head with Tyreek Hill, no fear. He's as close as the Honey Badger as we've seen, right? And I mean, when you talk about our defense, who's that one player you think of on our defense? It's Buddha Baker, right? Cardinal fans, we can say names like Kazir, you can say Mac Wilson, right? You can say Garrett Williams, you can say, I guess that kind of is the extent of it all. But what I'm saying is, like, if you ask an outsider, right? An outsider, what's one of your friends? If you have a friend that's a Bills fan or a Chiefs fan, you're like, what do you like about our defense? They'll probably say Buddha Baker, right? I'm not willing to give up on Buddha. I think Buddha needs to stay as an Arizona Cardinal, and I hope he retires as a Cardinal. Now, granted, if we were 2-5 or 2-6, then I would be singing a different tune, right? I would be singing something completely different. But we're 4-4. We're 4-4. We're in the top part of our division right now, where we should be in no shape or form trying to sell. We shouldn't be. And if we are, I'm gonna continue to start questioning this front office, right? Because the moves that have, or the lack of moves that we've seen so far from this front office is a little concerning. It's a little concerning. Are you seeing moves done already? Yes, you are. Yep. You're starting to see teams in the AFC making moves. The Ravens made move. The Bills made a move. The Chiefs are not complacent. They're continuing to just make moves and moves and moves and moves. They don't care. Now, we just got to worry about the NFC, right? We got to worry about the NFC. We don't care about the AFC. We got to worry about the NFC. So what can we do to get better, right? Pass rush has been the answer. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. And now going to week 9, it's been pass rush. It's always been the question mark. It always has been. Heck, even a month before the season started, when we were covering the preseason, pass rush has always been the question mark out there. Here's a chance. Do some. Open up the pocketbook. You got $19 million of cap space. And yet, granted, maybe that might not be $19 million that are sitting on Bidwell's desk or Monty Alstonford's desk, right? Yes, okay, you're right. It's not like they got $19 million right now in their pocket. They're like, I got to spend it, right? And it's not my money, too. You're right. It's not my money. So it's easier said than done to say, oh, just throw the bag. It is. But that's why I'm giving affordable options, too. I'm not just saying, oh, Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, right? I'm giving you affordable options that can produce and that can provide you a bump in this defensive line. Zaven Collins is a person. I like him. He's a great human being. Wonderful. I wanted him to succeed. I want him to succeed. It's just Zaven Collins was a middle linebacker drafted. That's what he is. He is, right? Zaven Collins is not a pure pass rusher. Who we're rolling with right now after the injury of Dennis Gardeck is Julian Okwara, former Lion, right? A rookie in Xavier Thomas, Victor Dimukeje, which I believe was a 4th or 5th round pick a few years back. Zaven Collins, a 1st round pick, but was drafted as a middle linebacker, right? Our edge core, ain't it? Monty, pick up the phone. Let's get something going on here. RC3 with the super chat. $10 donation. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. He says the Cardinals are going to bring in a 1 or 2 year person because of BJ. The effort the defense is showing with the front motivates more players to come here. We will have loads of money next year. Okay. So are you on the boat of staying pat and then next year? Like do something next year? Right? So you're on the boat of don't do anything, right? Or if I'm just misunderstanding. Well, I guess if that's the case, let me ask. It's a question for everybody. So if we're going all in next year, right? Can we promise that we're going to be in the same situation that the NFC West is ours for the taking right here, right? Okay, here we go. RC3, appreciate the response. He says yes. Okay, appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much. It makes sense, right? I know you're 100% correct, man. You are 100% correct. We are going to have loads of money, and I mean over $100 million next year. Loads of money. I probably shouldn't have said it like that, but we're going to have a lot of money. We are. But can you promise us that the situation will be what's laid out in front of us, right? Cardinal fans, we're excited about the NFC West, right? It's open. It's open for the taking right now. Like literally, the way this season has shaken out is Christian McCaffrey is set to come back in week 10. We don't 100% know if that's going to happen or not, right? We don't 100% know. But it's said to be that he potentially can come back in week 10. Now, I think the last we heard was that that's the date, but Shanahan still doesn't 100% know. A lot of injuries happening with the 49ers. We already knew what happened with the Rams. They're starting to get a little healthier and healthier. Geno Smith ain't it with the Seahawks. This year to me right now, which it could still translate into next year too, right? It still can. But I feel like this is the weakest this NFC West has looked in a very, very, very long time. A very long time. So the way I like to approach it, which although I think you're 100% correct, I think we do got the money. We got the money next year for sure. But just because we spend money this year, right, for the remaining of the season, doesn't mean that we can't get a guy or bring that same guy in 2025 and in 2026 as well, right? Depending on the contract, obviously, right? So I see what you're saying. But it's so hard for me to forget the fact that this NFC West is boom, like that. Here we go. It's like candy. It's like candy from a baby right now. It's open. I haven't seen the NFC West like this in a very, very long time, where the Cardinals are leading at 4-4. Whether it's injuries, whether it's schedule, whether it's just the downfall of the 49ers, Geno Smith not being very good, the Rams having all these injuries, right? All can be true. But I just have not seen the NFC West this week. And if there's any chance the Cardinals could potentially make a playoff push, a playoff run, and that's cherry on top of the ice cream, right? Honestly, to be honest, I would love the playoffs. I don't expect the playoffs, but I would love the playoffs, obviously, right? I want to talk about January football, right? But I don't expect it. I want to see progress. And so far, we're seeing progress, right? We already have 4 wins. That already matched the total win totals for the last 2 years. We're on cloud 9, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know. I see this very, very weak NFC West, and I'm really, really chomping at the bit to take advantage of it. RC3, appreciate you, man. Let's keep this conversation going. Love it, man. He says draft for depth in the front line and bring in a top cornerback and or a defensive tackle to make our team last longer than ever in this franchise. Okay. So okay. Well, let me ask you this. Max Crosby, maybe not attainable, right? In your eyes, the way that the rebuild is, right, in your eyes. But let's say, for example, in Aziz, right? Because in Aziz, he's young. You can bring him back on a multi-year deal, and it's kind of like you drafted him because he's like 24, 25 years old. He's young, right? I get that the Myles Garrett's might not be attainable, and it might not fit the Monty Ossenfort plan, as well as Max Crosby might not fit the Monty Ossenfort plan. But there's still people out there like your Josh Uches that just got traded away. Your guys that you might have a 1 or 2 year band-aid, like your Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith. I keep calling him Zadir. Sorry, Zadarius Smith. Your Azeez Ojulari. I just feel like this is the chance right here, right? Any chance the Cardinals had, right here, it's open. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, right? I see what you're saying. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm still on the boat where the Cardinals, I think, still need to make a move. It doesn't need to be a splash. It doesn't need to be all in, right? Because I know some people in the chat, all in today means give up 2 first-round picks. I'm not there. No, I'm not even there at all. But that's the thing. Like, you can be a buyer, but also not selling your farm at the same time, right? But it still does show this defense that you are believing that they can use some sort of juice. They can use some sort of facelift, right? I'm looking for just some sort of upgrade, right? Max Crosby would be a jewel, right? Myles Garrett would be a jewel. I don't think it's attainable. I'm not going to put all my eggs in a basket there, but I still do think that if you want to show that you believe in this team, throw a 6th round pick, throw a 5th round pick somewhere, right? Right? Throw a 5th round pick. Stop making moves like this. You know what I mean? Like Aaron Wilson here with the Cardinals just working out a defensive lineman in Anthony Goodlow. You know, all I can think is this.
Emotional damage.
It's just the same things over and over again. Like, how much more do we have to allow these quarterbacks to make a ham sandwich back there with spreading that mayonnaise on there, right? Adding that cheese that they just made, right? They just aged cheese, cut it up, put some mayonnaise, a full-blown sandwich we're allowing quarterbacks to sit back there. And we know that there is a big, big hole in this team. And it's not just now, right? It's not that it's one of these things where I'm like, oh, we got Gardeck hurt, right? This has been something we've been talking about since the beginning of the year. Edge. Ask anybody in the NFC West right now, what is the biggest weakness on this Arizona Cardinal team? They would say the edge position, because I don't fear your guys' defensive line for a lick. But, opinions, right? Junior with the super chat. What's up, Junior? Thank you so very much for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, what's up, Mike? I agree. A pass rusher for the future. Aziz makes too much sense. Overall, think for the future with these moves. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Aziz is a future move to me, right? I think people hear trading and they think, oh, don't give up your farm. Don't give up draft picks. But you're giving up a 6th round pick, a 5th round pick, a 4th round pick I would be willing to send away. It's a 4th round pick. Josh Uche went for a 6th round pick in 2026. If you're telling me I can give up a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick in 2026 and somebody would be like, okay, take them. for a potential guy that has 6 sacks already? We don't know a player that has 6 sacks on this team, right? The last one that had one was probably actually it was Gardeck. I'm sorry. I'm being a little facetious here. But, you know, just for the sake of my argument, was just Chandler Jones. You know what I mean? So like Aziz is for the future to me, right? It is for the future because you give up something small like a 6th round, a 5th round, a 4th round pick. Heck, maybe even in 2026 if they're willing to take that. That is for the future to me. 4th is nothing. 6th is nothing. Draft capital is wonderful and it works and it's cool. It's gravy. It's good. But I mean, I just do not want to put all my eggs in the basket of Darius Robinson. We're all pumped up. We're all excited about seeing Darius. You and me both. We're all excited about the opportunity to see Darius Robinson shine and flourish, right? We're all excited about it. It's just, I don't want to put all my eggs in the basket because we knew how that turned out, right? You saw 7-game sample size for Marvin Harrison Jr. And guess what? You got a lot of Cardinal fans already calling this man a bust. What? What? You can't call what? No, he's not a bust. So I just kind of fear the opposite way, right? When we're seeing things here that, although, people that look at the film or actually watch the Cardinals team, right? And talk about the Cardinals and not just watching it on Sundays and going about your day, right? I just don't want Darius Robinson to have the weight on his shoulders because he's a first round pick and maybe he might not produce the first 2 or 3 games because he's playing limited, right? You heard Jonathan Gannon say we're not going to push it. He's day by day. He's going to be activated, right? He's going to be put to the 53 because we don't want him to be, on the IR for the remaining of the year. So we know that he's going to be used. It's just he's not going to be used to the level of maybe he might not, be as productive. And then, of course, if he's not productive in the first 2 or 3 games, there comes the people. I told you the Cardinals should have done this. Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. We should have done this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. So I just do not want to put all my eggs in a basket, right? Because this is the way I think about it here, right? This is the way I think about it. Let's say the Cardinals do go after an Azeez Ojulari, right? Let's just say that. And then he has a fantastic remaining of the 2024 season, right? Let's say he does. So we got Azeez Ojulari. This is 2025, okay? Picture this. Close your eyes with me. Let's kumbaya. Close your eyes. 2025, right? Let's say 2024 doesn't work out for us, but we almost make it to the playoffs. But we progressed in the amount of wins. Okay, that's a good thing. But let's talk about our defensive line heading into next year, right? That's Azeez Ojulari. Contingency that the Cardinals do decide to extend him and pay him and all that stuff. Azeez Ojulari. You got BJ Ojulari coming back. You got the 2 guys that we brought in this last year with Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols. You got, hopefully a good dosage of what we know, what Darius Robinson can become, right? You automatically have a upgraded defensive line if you make a move like that. And guess what? You gave up a 5th round, 6th round pick, right? Or potentially a 4th round pick for maybe an Azeez Ojulari, right? That is thinking for the future to me, right? Because you're right. We have over $100 million to spend next year. But guess what? If the Cardinals go after Azeez, he's only getting paid $3 million, $4 million, if that. That's not gonna hurt your pockets. I mean, once you decide to extend him, yeah. But if he gives you a double-digit sack season, you might want to extend him. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way my mind processes. But I don't think anybody's wrong here. I don't think anybody's wrong in the scenario that you want the Cardinals to sit back or not do anything to next year. Well, guess what? The Cardinals right now are the number 1 in their division at 4-4, and this is the weakest, and I mean the weakest, I've seen the NFC West in a very long time. We've gone through injuries ourselves. It's not just the 49ers. We've gone through injuries. 49ers gone through some major injuries. The Rams gone through some major injuries as well. This is the weakest I've seen the NFC West in a very long time. Most recent years, of course. Most recent years. There's a reason why they call us NFC best. There's a reason for that. Not anymore. We're not NFC best anymore. Maybe towards the last 9 games that they'll probably start chugging along. That might be the case. I keep going back to that whole thing in my mind. What if, right? What if? It's not like we're broke. It's not like we're broke. Aziz will want a new contract next year. Well, yeah, well, I mean, but that's the same thing, right? Aren't you going to sign new people next year? Right? Think of it as a free agent acquisition, right? Think of it as we're getting his production on this small contract with his rookie deal, and the plan is for us to sign people next year, right? Think of it as a free agent acquisition, but we're using them in this half of this year. It's the same thing. Same situation, right? Same situation. If he gives you double digits, you don't think you should pay him? I mean, he might not give you double digits, and I mean the Cardinals. He might get double-digit sacks for the 2024 season, but if that is production, wouldn't you pay him anyways? I don't think he's going to be getting TJ Watt numbers, right? I don't think he's going to get anything like that. Still in the teens, maybe low 20s, right? Just obviously depending on the market. I mean, think of it as a free agent acquisition if the Cardinals decide to extend him. What, give him a 4th-round pick? You're going to lose sleep over a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick in 2026? Come on now. I think the Cardinals should do it. But like I said, opinions, right? You might be right. Monty might not do anything. And I think those people, there might be some people that already convinced themselves that it's not going to happen, right? So they're saying things like, oh, it's okay. But, it's fine. Opinions differ. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you everybody for tuning in. We're going to be closing up shop. Huge shout out to all the super chatters here today. We had Junior up in the chat. We had RC3 in the chat. We had Demetrius in the chat. We had Jesus in the chat with the super chat. We're going to be closing up shop. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is an absolute amazing conversation. And of course, with the trade deadline looming, it just gets people just that much more excited about obviously the Cardinals and the NFL. And who would have thunk it? We're at the top of our division right now, sitting at 4-4. Why not take advantage of the opportunity here? But let's give a shout out here to BetUS, which is the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 50% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and 125% sign-up bonus on the following 2. By using promo code YouTube150, they'll provide you this great offer upon signing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, we're going to be closing up shop. Thank you, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Smack up the like button on your way out. We still are sitting with 40 likes with over 100 of you guys up in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For the X/Twitter watchers, if you want to watch us on a playback, you got to go over to the YouTube side and search up the AZ Sports Fan and shoot over a subscription over it. It's absolutely for free. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.